Hello everyone and welcome to this video words. Let's try that again. Hey everyone and welcome back. So in today's video I found a Simpsons creepypasta. Now it is quite a popular one and high ranked one, but I didn't even know there's a creepypasta to do with a Lost Simpsons episode. So this is gonna be similar to the Squidward suicide creepypasta that I covered previously. I'll leave a link in the description below, and also to my creepypasta playlist if you fancy checking the others out. That's cool, shameless plug and all that. But yeah, so I wanted to cover this one because I used to love The Simpsons, and I remember being told I was born like Simpsons used to always be on Channel 4 at 6 o'clock in the evening here in the UK, and I always remember that my mum said I was born just before 6 p.m. and I always said it was so then I could watch The Simpsons. I used to love it. The new ones aren't as good, admittedly, but yeah, I mean the old school Simpsons episodes, like Simpsons movie, funny as anything, man. But yeah, so I wanted to cover this one because Simpsons is a show that I used to watch all the time when I was a kid, with my brothers and sister and my cousins, and everyone at school used to watch it. We used to just talk about Simpsons. There's even stuff now, like I still sing Spider Pig from the Simpsons movie. So yeah, it was quite interesting that there's a creepypasta to do with it, so I thought why not cover it. So this is called Dead Bart. You know how Fox has a weird way of counting Simpsons episodes? They refuse to count a couple of them, making the amount of episodes inconsistent. The reason for this is a lost episode from season 1. Finding details about this missing episode is difficult. No one who was working on the show at the time likes to talk about it. From what has been pieced together, the lost episode was written entirely by Matt Groening. During production of the first season, Matt started to act strangely. He was very quiet, seemed nervous and morbid. Mentioning this to anyone who was present results in them getting very angry and forbidding you to ever mention it to Matt. The episode's production number was 7G44. The title was Dead Bart. In addition to getting angry, asking anyone who was on the show about this would cause them to do anything they can to stop you from directly communicating with Matt Groening. As a fan event, I managed to follow him after he spoke to the crowd, and eventually had a chance to talk to him alone as he was leaving the building. He didn't seem upset that I had followed him, probably expected a typical encounter with an obsessive fan. When I mentioned the last episode though, all colour drained from his face and he started trembling. When I asked him if he could tell me any details, it sounded like he was on the verge of tears. He grabbed a piece of paper, wrote something on it and handed it to me. He begged me to never mention the episode again. The piece of paper had a website address on it. I would rather not say what it was for reasons you'll see in a second. I entered the address into my browser and I came to a site that was completely black except for a line of yellow text. A download link, I clicked on it and a file started downloading. Once the file was downloaded, my computer went crazy. It was the worst virus I had ever seen. System restore didn't work. The entire computer had to be rebooted. Before doing this though, I copied the file onto a CD. I tried to open it on my now empty computer, and as I suspected, there was an episode of The Simpsons on it. The episode started off like any other episode but had very poor quality animation. If you've seen the original animation for Some Enchanted Evening, it was similar but less stable. The first act was fairly normal, but the way the characters acted was a little off. Homer seemed angrier, Marge seemed depressed, Lisa seemed anxious, Bart seemed to have genuine anger and hatred for his parents. The episode was about the Simpsons going on a plane trip. Near the end of the first act, the plane was taking off. Bart was fooling around as you'd expect. However, as the plane was about 50 feet off the ground, Bart broke a window on the plane and was sucked out. At the beginning of the series, Matt had an idea that the animated style of the Simpsons world represented life, and that death turned things more realistic. This was used in this episode. The picture of Bart's corpse was barely recognisable. They took full advantage of it not having to move and made an almost photorealistic drawing of his dead body. Act 1 ended with the shot of Bart's corpse, When Act 2 started, Homer, Marge and Lisa were sitting at their table crying. The crying went on and on. It got more pained and sounded more realistic, better acting than you would think possible. The animation started to decay even more as they cried, and you could hear murmuring in the background. This crying went on for all of Act 2. Act 3 opened with a title card saying 1 year had passed. Homer, Marge and Lisa were skeletally thin and still sitting at the table. There was no sign of Maggie or the pets. They decided to visit Bart's grave. Springfield was completely deserted, and as they walked to the cemetery, the houses became more and more decrepit. They all looked abandoned. When they got to the grave, Bart's body was just lying in front of his tombstone, looking just like it did at the end of Act 1. The family started crying again. Eventually, they stopped and just stared at Bart's body. The camera zoomed in on Homer's face. According to summaries, Homer tells a joke at this part, but it isn't audible in the version I saw. You can't tell what Homer is saying. The few zoomed out as the episode came to a close. The tombstones in the background had the names of every Simpsons guest star on them. Some that no one had heard of in 1989. Some that haven't been on the show yet. All of them had death dates on them. But guess who died since? Like Michael Jackson and George Harrison. The dates were when they would die. You can try to use the tombstones to predict the death of living Simpsons guest stars, but there's something odd about most of the ones who haven't died yet. All of their deaths are listed as the same date. And that's the end of the Dead Bart Creepypasta. So that one was quite similar to the Squidward Suicide one, with the hyper-realistic animation when it goes a bit darker, and with the really realistic crying and everything. But it was quite a good one, and it's interesting how they kind of put into the fact that everyone always says that the Simpsons predict stuff like the Twin Towers. You know what happened in America, the Twin Towers, they predicted that. They predicted Lady Gaga's meat dress. Like, it's just an ongoing thing, isn't it, that the Simpsons have always predicted something that's going on. Like, even Trump coming to power, I think they predicted as well. But yeah, there's quite a few different things. I know I saw one theory before that said that the Simpsons predicted COVID. But yeah, so it's quite interesting how to put that in with the tombstones, saying that they predicted how the year that the guest stars would sadly pass away in that. So yeah, it was quite a good one. I like how it leans into, like, you know, what makes the Simpsons famous. And yeah, I also feel sorry for the Simpsons. I mean, losing Bart, I mean, getting sucked out of an airplane window, it's not exactly the most normal or peaceful way to go. But yeah, I enjoyed it. But yeah, let me know what you guys think. If you have any suggestions for anything you want me to discuss on this channel, and then just let me know either in the comments below, send me an email, it's on my channel, and if you enjoyed this video, feel free to like and subscribe. It really helps me out, and it lets me know what you guys like, so then I don't feel like I'm just rambling to myself all the time. But anyway, I'll see you all in the next one.